Hey, welcome into this edition of the GASOCast. We are live here Wednesday, September 21st, around 10 a.m. We are all remote, as you can see, but we are still doing our thing. We got a big weekend this weekend. We have the GASO Fall Classic in San Antonio, and then we have the Link Camp in San Antonio. 35 days until basketball practice starts, and we're off and running to the season. Fellas, how we been? Blue, what you been doing, man?
We all we got to play golf, so that was good. Fantasy football is fake, and yeah, managing six teams is very difficult. Plus a pick'em league, and plus an all pick every game. It's stressful.
Killing it.
Next,
Shoot, for me, non-basketball wise, I've been keeping up with the Aaron Judge home run race. That's pretty exciting. Just a little tidbit to throw in there. Non-basketball stuff. My boy Roger Federer is retiring, which is sad for me. Um, Tough week for me. With that, President's Cup for golf this weekend will be fun to watch as well. I'm gonna always try to everything I'm doing. Anytime I get some free time, it's away from basketball. But I'm excited, like we've talked about, for this weekend in San Antonio.
Yeah. Um, Went down to Austin this weekend. Got to see a little UTSA fun matchup, football. And you know what? Whisper it. Don't say it out loud just yet, but whisper it. Cowboys Super Bowl might be back on.
oh my God,
Oh, I'm
this
dead.
is for you, Lyndon, right here.
Yep.
Cooper Rush,
Uh,
baby.
Cooper Rush. I've been in family time mode, putting that phone away early. It's been great to spend time with the family. Ready to get back to the grind this weekend. Let's move into signings and commitments. David Terrell, UTEP, and then Jadyn Toppin, New Mexico. Um, both great gets. We've been high on both these guys for a while now. It's great to see them find a home. Definite impact players.
Yeah, no, those two are good ones, man. And I think the recruitment or the commitments are coming pretty fast right now. A lot of these guys, if you didn't sign before the grassroots summer, a lot of them are trying to sign before the high school season starts. And we're going to tonight get a Justin McBride commitment from Plano High School, which will be interesting as well. So look out for that.
Yeah, and the David Terrell commitment, if I'm not mistaken, his dad played football there, mother played basketball, so kind of seemed like an easy, perfect fit for him to want to be part of that UTEP minors group there.
Nice.
No doubt. All right, let's hop into some segments. Obviously, like I said earlier, we are in San Antonio this weekend. We got some marquee matchups. We're all going to speak to one, but I'm going to pass it to you, Lyndon, first. Give us your marquee matchup.
Yeah, the one that really stood out to me when looking down the schedule, and there's a lot of good matchups from Central Texas, South Texas, Valley teams down there. But Buda Johnson and the run that they had last year, and with the familiarity we've seen with their guys over the summer, matching up against the blend of youth and experience that San Antonio Wagner has, this is one of those games where you're going to see a lot of prospects on the floor that are fit to play college basketball at some level. Obviously the two standouts for Buda Johnson that we saw a ton of this summer, Jackson Vandegaard, Sam McKinney, but they've got some nice pieces in there. Jack Untermeyer's a name that needs to be known around the state. And then with San Antonio Wagner, they have Trey Clark, they have Devontae Durst. These guys really do a good job of blending that varsity level experience with their incoming freshman guys, and they're going to be a problem and potentially make some noise down the road in 6A this year.
No, that's a
Have
matchup I'm really excited for as well, for sure.
Mike, going to yours.
So for me, when I saw our team list come out, I went straight to those that create the schedule and said, hey, any chance we get to get potential two of the top 10 kids in our 2025 rankings, which aren't out yet, but these two guys will both be making a push. You have Lake Travis with Hudson Greer and Brennan with Kingston Fleming. So I was like, we have to have that matchup. I think anytime you can get that type of talent on the same court, you got to do it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Brennan has a lot of momentum going in this year as all those 2025s make that push to their sophomore season. And Lake Travis, the same way. I'm excited to see what these guys can do going head to head, specifically in that matchup because I'm a player and I want to see those two on the same court.
I'll hop
Yeah.
in here. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Blue.
Well, I was going to say San Antonio, Reagan, and then Stony Point. Um, Stony Point with a new head coach with Antoine Thompson, who just took over the program, going against a John Hurst led team in Reagan. And I think that it's going to be fun because I think it's just going to be a different type of matchup altogether, seeing a little bit of different styles because Reagan's going to want to slow down the ball on you a little bit. They'll shoot a lot of threes on you. Where typically when you see a Coach Thompson's team, they're going to want to get up and down. And with Josiah Mosley and with Aiden Richard for Reagan, Mosley for Stony Point, pretty good matchup right there of two young talents of the 24 class. And I think that this is right. I think we just tip off right away at the 9 or 10-10 game with this matchup. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's a great early morning. I'm going to keep it rolling here. We got Boerne champion, the defending regional champs, coming back, and they're playing a game in Round Rock. They returned 4 of some of their best players, most notably Braden Baum. Then they have Charlie Georgelos and Dakari Hodge returning from injury. I'm really looking forward to seeing Dakari. Saw him a little bit this summer, but obviously, as we know, this ACL it's a process. So just seeing how this team's going to gel after such an incredible year last year. And then Round Rock on the other side, they're going to be led by Jason Ward, who had a really good summer with ASAC. So really fun marquee matchup, and it's going to be a great day in San Antonio. More so moving into the intrigue matchups, maybe you might not know a couple things about these teams. Let's throw some out, Blue.
San Antonio, Cole, Somerset. I believe that Cole, if I'm not mistaken, went to 3 straight state title runs. They made 3 straight state title runs. They won 1, and it's a new look without Silas Livingston and some other pieces that they had there. And so really intrigued to see how they're going to come back as they have Marcel Hutcherson, that's a 6'6" inside guy, and then, of course, James Livingston, who's Silas's younger brother. And so pretty intrigued to see exactly what's going to happen there, of course, with the Somerset group that with Matthew Soto, who's going to let it fly from deep, and then Trey Pullen's inside that can kind of clean up the glass. So hopefully a little bit of a balanced attack for both. Let's just kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go for intriguing matchup. I'm looking at just the way these two teams kind of want to operate. You have Steele versus Boerne. With Steele, you're looking at Cameron Roper and Pablo Francis running the show in the backcourt. They're going to want to be very guard oriented. And then with Boerne, without a shot clock, they're going to be looking to get the ball to probably the San Antonio preseason player of the year in Jaylen Crocker Johnson. So we'll just kind of see how those two styles are going to go at each other. And I'm excited for that matchup. Both of those teams have deep playoff run aspirations in them, so it'll be good to see them down in San Antonio this weekend go head-to-head.
Yeah, 2 teams that are kind of under the radar, I feel like, on a lot of people's minds around the state right now is Hutto and San Antonio Harlan. Harlan has been one of those teams where since they've come to the varsity level, they've always had talent. This might be one of their, they've got some names out there that are some really nice pieces, such as Ashawn Holmes, Jaron Hall, those kind of guards that can really fill it up from the outside, can really get to the rim and score. And then with Hutto, we saw a lot of Dylan Richardson over the summer, but they have some nice pieces to complement his game, like Josh Calhoun, Roy Gardner, 2 names that stand out to me. But I'm really excited to see how these 2 teams, where they are at this point in the preseason, and if they can build some positive momentum going into the actual regular season when that gets started.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with Copperas, Cove, and San Antonio Antonian. I think there's a lot of guards in this matchup that are going to be fun. There's notably Henry Sanchez Perez, scoring guard. We saw him a bunch this summer. I think he went for 40 in a couple of games. His running mate, Bryce Smith. And then on the other side in Antonian, you've got Roman Chase and some other guys who can really fill it up. Antonian's reloaded. Knowledge Carter, a young guy that we'll probably touch on a little bit later, but this a bunch of guards that can really score the ball. That makes for a Ryan Massett special right there. Just those are my favorite types of games. Let's move into some players, some 23s you're excited to watch. We've got a lot of them here. We just built our prospect guide, and it is deep and it is rich with a lot of young players. So, Timmins, give us a 23 that you're excited to watch.
Yeah, so we spoke about earlier in the matchup, but Braden Baum at Boerne Champion. One thing I'm looking for is a lot of these guys that have had success going in deep playoff runs. I had an interview with Harlan from Duncanville, and I was like, "Hey, man, you know how to win, but now it's on your time as a senior." So it's going to be the same way with Braden. How does he lead, knowing that this is his senior year? How do they get back to the state tournament? So I'm excited to see him kind of get it going at our fall classic this Saturday.
I'll hop in here. A guy who we were at the Round Rock event for the GASO, and every time we turned, it seemed like David Alexander was putting his arm into the rim. Really exciting athlete, Pflugerville Hendrickson. They're returning a couple notable 2023s, him being one of them. And I'm looking for the leadership, the outside shooting, and all the things that this guy is surely capable of. So, Pflugerville Hendrickson, I'm going to keep my eye on David Alexander in particular.
Yeah, Jeremiah Torres from San Antonio Jefferson is at the top of my list because he showed back in May of last year when San Antonio Jefferson came to the GASO as their high school team. Jeremiah Torres was the guy that went out there and put up 20 plus a game for 3 straight games. He can go off for 30. Obviously, he's got to be one of the main focal points for this team. He's got to do a ton of scoring that left the void by the 2 seniors that left last year. With San Miguel and also with Rincon. So let's see just how he's going to step up and how Jefferson is going to look moving forward and see if they can continue their 20 plus, 25 plus wins per year.
They always got a fun scoring guard who can just go off. It's funny. It's like a tradition.
Yeah. My pick in the 2023 class is going to be Ward Harrell out of New Braunfels. For me personally, my experience watching New Braunfels, I'm used to them having the short, spread you out, shoot a ton of threes kind of deal. But with Ward, they have the inside presence where they can throw it in there. He's 6'6", 6'7", and he had a really productive summer with Sabo. I'm excited to see what he can do. There's going to be college coaches in the building if he can catch the eye of a couple of those guys.
All right, let's continue this train. We're going to move to 24s, and I'm going to kick it off. Trayvon Williams out of Schertz Clemens had a really good summer with all-in basketball. Really lanky prospect. He has a lot of upside, and I just wanted to see, when Michael, you always talk about those, August. Are you sitting down or are you getting better kind of deal? And Trayvon, with all of his length and all of his upside, I want to see if the leap is starting to happen because he was effective in the summer. But there's just a lot on the bone with that kid. When you're 6'7" and you've got a longer wingspan than your height, you got a chance to be a pretty good college player.
Yeah, and for me, I'm looking at Josiah Mosley, Round Rock, Stony Point. We talked about Coach Thompson coming in there, new culture, new attitude. And this summer, Mosley did everything he was supposed to do, turned himself into a national name, climbed up the rankings. Now going into this high school season, I want to see what the next level of step he can take in leading this Stony Point team. I'm really excited to see how he progresses.
Yeah, my pick for 24 has got to be Aiden Richard for San Antonio Reagan. One of the biggest names in the city right now in San Antonio as far as a prospect who will – if he stays on the trajectory that he's on right now, play Division I basketball, does so many things well, can score it, defends, and plays with a fun group. I'm excited to get my eyes on him a little bit more this weekend.
Yeah, and just rounding it out with CJ Vela from Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Another guy that has shown to step up and take a lot of the scoring role. How is he look about 3 to 4 months since we've seen him last? I'm really interested to see what steps he's made in his skill level and also with his ability to get his teammates involved and not just be a scorer, though he does that plenty good. And guys, I never mentioned Matthew Gonzalez once, so
good for you, Blue. Matthew's going to be hooping this weekend. We're excited about him. Moving into this last segment, we're going to kind of talk about the stable in San Antonio. We refer to them as the next gens, the 25s, the 26s, the guys that you're going to know about sooner rather than later. And San Antonio has a really, really strong bunch. We kind of started listing names, and we were like, there's too many. There's too many to talk about here. So I'm going to pass it to the San Antonio guys, Blue and Timmins. Give us a little bit just about how exciting some of these recruits are right now.
Yeah, I mean, right away you look at what Brennan's doing. Isaiah Ward at 2026, Camden Cowgill 25, Kingston Fleming 25, and you're like right from there, you're like, oh wow, San Antonio's loaded. But then you look and now you have the emergence of Trey Clark over at San Antonio Wagner, who I talk to the coaching staff pretty frequently. They're very excited for this kid. I mean, the jump shot looks like Michael Porter Jr. coming off of it. They're teaching him to try to dunk everything. I mean, there's special times out there. Blue, I'm going to pass it to you for some more guys, but just right there within 15 seconds of me naming, like, you can tell the plethora of talent we have.
Yeah, and I think that's very important just to kind of mention, Michael, through our conversation yesterday, is that Wagner likes their team, the coaches there, and also they're sharing the ball. They're not counting on just one guy, even though Trey seems like the next guy up when it comes to just pure talent in San Antonio. He's willing to be part of the team, and I think that's very special. And I'm gonna touch on something a little bit different here as all these next gen guys are coming through collectively in San Antonio, Central Texas, where there are groups of guys to go see. Over the last couple of years, I think it was a little bit of a hit and miss. There might have been some stretches there, but when you look at sprinkling the 2023s and now you look at the 24s, and especially the next gen of the 25, 26s, there is plenty to like and watch in San Antonio. We saw that back in May and throughout the summer when they were attending the Great American Shootouts. And, we've already touched on Hudson Greer, but I mean, that's a guy that just athletically makes sense for a lot of people. Max Buford, we saw him during the year, the summer, and a guy that goes out and rebounds and does little things around on the perimeter it makes for a fun group. And Jaylen,
Crittenden.
yes, he's
and Damian Ramirez are two other 26s that can put the ball on the rim.
Knowledge Carter.
Yeah, Knowledge Carter. Cameron Garza, John Jay. They played in the Alamo Hoops event, and he caught a body. And I would like, hey man, I would like you to replicate that this weekend in our event too. So. It's exciting times, and I think we continue every time we talk about San Antonio. We're down there for a GASO or a fall GASO. This is one of our strongest talking points: is this young talent. So,
yeah, and I want to just hit on Brennan again. I mean, I feel like they were regional semifinalists, correct?
Finalists.
I'm sorry, regional finalists last year.
Yeah.
Then they add, Zach Crawford comes over there, and they were led by freshmen. Like, this team has a chance to be really, really special, and just to see what they can do. And obviously, I mentioned the regional finalists, but I mean the state qualifier and Boerne champion. But San Antonio basketball is coming on very strong. We're excited for this weekend, and I think this weekend is we're just going to see all types of fireworks. So really looking forward to that.
And as we wrap this up, I will say this was one of the harder discussions we've had as we create our list of players and teams that we want to talk about. So shout out to the San Antonio and Central Texas area. After this weekend, we're going to have plenty to talk about in our post-game recap of all the festivities. So be looking out for that.
Absolutely. If you want all of our content, at Texas Hoops GASO on Twitter and Instagram. And then I'm GASO Mass. We got GASO Blue at iFilm Hoopers and GASO Lyndon. We're going to be putting out free stuff all throughout the event. And then we have our link camp on Sunday, which should be a great event. I think we're full, Blue, or where are we at with that? We're very, very tight.
We can squeeze a couple more, but it looks like we're going to get to that 140 mark. And if you're not in that 140, I'm not going to sit here and explain it again for 10 minutes, but it's a big loss. It's special on Sunday. It's going to be fun.
No doubt. Thanks for tuning into this edition of the GASOcast. We'll see you next week.